Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Welcome back to the show. We are so excited to have our guest here joining us today, Tracy Makarenko. Again, she's an intuitive healer, holistic life coach, spiritual teacher, best-selling author as well, Healing Possibilities, and so much more. Welcome back to the show today, Tracy. How are you?
I'm great, Jill. Thanks for asking. How are you? I haven't seen you in weeks. I've been away. You've been away. It looks like we've been doing all sorts of traveling.
I know. It's been great though. I had to have some time off. Did you go anywhere fun?
Yeah, we went to Vegas for 5 days and then we did Hawaii for 10.
Oh my goodness. I just looked into Hawaii yesterday for me and my kids. I have no idea what I'm doing because I'm like, you say Hawaii, and then I'm like, but there's Oahu, there's Maui, there's all these different islands, and I'm really confused. Was that your first time there?
Oh no, we go pretty much every year.
So you're my expert, my
So,
go-to when I have questions because can you fit it
yeah.
in 10 days? Can you get to the hot spots in 10 days?
Well, you're only going to do probably one island. But I guess having kids, you need to decide what's really important,
Oh, which is your
what you
favorite?
want to see. I love the island of Kauai, but
Okay.
it's mostly because it's kind of laid back. It feels very Hawaiian. You get to like really rest and regroup. The big island for me after that has a lot of different cool things. We've only been there once. We did
Okay.
that last year. Um,
Awesome.
yeah, and then the other islands are just super busy. So,
Really?
it
Even
just
Maui?
feels,
Maui's busy even.
yeah,
And
Maui and Oahu. But, if you're into that busy part, that's it's
like
fun. And
to
if you haven't been, I mean, you have a long
never.
flight. I think your flight is what, eight
Oh,
or 9 hours?
oh no, I think it's like 15. I
Oh,
think
is
you
it
got
that?
to, yeah, I think so. And I don't know if there's direct, but it probably stops in California. I think that's what most people do a
Oh,
little bit
yeah,
of a
yeah,
layover, but I'm
yeah.
excited. I want to do it one day. It's on my bucket list. I'm
Oh,
probably not doing it anytime soon with the three of us, but we'll see.
yeah. No, you got to have it on that list because it might never happen.
Yes, bucket list. And how does the energy there for someone like you? I mean, connecting to nature and being in Hawaii,
Ah,
does that kind of rejuvenate you and your soul?
it does, I mean, I live on an island, but Hawaii is
Yes.
a different type of island. All the volcanic rock and I mean, we have lots of vegetation here too, but oh my God, yeah, the turtles and the whales, and we have whales here too.
Wow.
There's a lot of comparison, but it's not the same. It's not the same. And we only have a 5.5 hour flight, so it's nothing for us to get back and forth.
That's not bad.
So, but it definitely, before I left, I was kind of, I've been run off my feet, and so you're really looking forward to a vacation. You get there and you unwind, and then you're like, okay, that's good. And then all of a sudden the next day you're like, oh no, there's more relaxing. Who knew there was more relaxing?
Yeah.
And then you come back and there's something about the Hawaiian Islands that kind of connect you differently. And I mean, I want to talk about that whole spiritual connection that we
hmm
have. I've talked a lot about the physical body, but
hmm
we heal on this physical body level, and it's actually happening on a spiritual level. We have our spirit guides and angels. They're the ones who are taking care of us on, on their level, making sure we're doing okay here. Um, we talk to them. I'm sure
hmm
you said your mother passed, so you must
Yeah.
connect with her a lot.
I try all the time.
Do you get little
Signs
clues that
and
she's around? Yeah.
the music that comes on a lot of the time, sometimes the light flickering, but it's mostly in signs through music, I think, because I love music and so did she. So it's like her
Yeah.
favorite song comes on, and then that song, and I'm like, oh, it's in dreams. She's been coming into my dreams a lot lately, and I believe there's a lot to be said for that. So I try to wake up and write my dreams down. And I just remember I've been dreaming so vividly for the past few years, which I never used to, or maybe because I'm getting older, I'm remembering more. I wake up my kids every day. I said, "Did you have a dream?" And they say no, they don't remember, or maybe they're too young. I don't know. But I feel like I'm dreaming a lot more than normal, and she's always a part of it. And my sister hasn't had her in one dream yet. So it's bizarre.
Well, dreams are really interesting because when my third eye started opening up, oh boy, the dreams were so vivid. Not in the sense that I dream in color, I dream in, all sorts of stuff. I think a lot of us do. But I would dream of things happening that hadn't happened yet. And I'd had background information on this. I don't know if I talked to you about this yet. I don't think we've gotten into things like this, but do you remember in the early 2000s, maybe even 2000, there was a group of people who went from Cuba on inner tubes and little boats across to Florida. And there was one specific little boy who ended up with his aunt and uncle or something in Florida. His mother didn't make it across.
Yes.
You remember that?
Yes.
Well, I had a dream. I had a dream that this bright white light and people breaking into this house and taking this little boy, and then them being in the hospital and, going through there. It was women who was with him in the hospital. And it was the next day on the news that they had actually gone in and taken him to send him back to his father. And it had been a woman who had been the one who'd done it, not a man, to scare him, is my guess. But I remember like that was my first really like vivid dream of reality that
Wow.
happened. And it was mind-blowing, you know?
Wow, that's right. So they took him back home, right? But he
Yeah,
didn't want
yeah.
to, but he was with who was he with? His grandparents or
I
someone?
thought he was with his mother's siblings.
Family. And there was a
I
fight
didn't
over oh my goodness,
Yeah,
that's
but I do
intuitive to,
remember he got sent back to his father. And I didn't know much about it. I just happened to be ironing that morning and watching, television. And then this whole like breaking news thing came across. And I was like, wait a
wow.
second.
Wow.
I
Like,
dreamt more details about this last night than what they're telling us right now. So, I mean, when that third eye opens, things can be a little scary. There are several things that happen that I don't really want to get into because they're kind of difficult situations, but being given information that how do you share that information with someone? Like there's
wow.
some
So
information
was
you
this
can't
your
share.
spiritual awakening in a sense, or you've already had
Yeah.
them? Okay.
So, I mean, there'd been a lot going on, but this was just like that next level, I'd always had a knowing, like even when I was a kid, I knew my aunt would ask me, "Where's grandma?" She was only a few years older than me. I was like, "Oh, grandma's blah blah blah."
Ah,
Like, how could you know that? I'm like, "Well, I can feel where she is." Like I just had a sense, certain people that were really connected to me, I knew where they were. In my teen years, I I did not want to go to this party because we were going to go with these friends, and I did not want to get in this van. And I prayed all the way out of town. It was called a sand party. You have beach parties or bush parties or
yeah.
whatever, right? So we had a sand party. And the driver turned around at one point and he looked like death, like absolutely and completely. And went to the party, came home, went to the beach the next day, and that's everyone talked about. He died in that van that night.
Wow.
So, I've always had like knowings of things, but when these dream things happen, just like you, like there's another level of opening up that's happening. And it can be exciting, but it can also be a little scary. I don't know if you're at the scary part, you're just the excited part because it's your mom coming through, which is kind of nice.
Well, you want to hear something true? The other night, I had this dream, and I was dressed up, going somewhere, which is not too often, and my brother wasn't answering the bathroom door, and it wasn't my brother, but we opened the door, and he was killed over dead on the toilet bowl, like and I was like, oh my goodness, 911, call them, and I haven't heard from my brother in a few days, and so just today, he's in North Carolina. I text his daughter, have you heard from Dad? She's like, no, I haven't since Wednesday. I said, oh my gosh, just let me call my brother. I text him. He wrote back. He's okay. I'm like, okay. I'm like, I had a weird dream and I'm just thinking, I'm like, how do I start connecting my dreams? Is something going wrong? Is something not? But that was a scary one. But again,
Yeah.
I don't know what the dreams mean all the time. last night I had a dream about my mom, and I was so mad at her for some reason. And it was like Christmas. I didn't want to spend Christmas with her. I didn't want to lay in the bed with her, which was odd. I never have these dreams about my mom, like in a bad way, but I'm like, why am I dreaming this? But I don't know. I'm waiting. I'm hoping there'll be more to my dreams, maybe more
Yeah.
intuitive like yours.
Well, I mean, sometimes you have these dreams. I remember having a dream of my house burning down, and then, my handy dandy dream um, book, I had to look at that up and it said new beginning. So, I mean, I can't really interpret dreams very well, but it's nice to
Hmm.
have something that can kind of help you a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, and so, yeah, that new beginning was huge. It was like a house burning down. And when you have to like start a new life, that's exactly what happened within weeks of that dream. So, I mean, these dreams are definitely interesting, but it allows us to play, I think, with other parts of our senses. A lot of us have that gut instinct, or you just have a sixth sense of things. Um, for me, the knowing is really huge, because there's, I think, five different ways of connecting into your intuition. One is just knowing stuff. You just know
Okay.
stuff is happening, right? And then feeling, I would say that's
Hmm.
probably my number one thing, because when I'm doing my work, I'm always feeling for stuff.
Yeah.
Um, Feeling for blockages, feeling for places where I can move within the body or within spirit to help people connect. Um, then you can see things. Like some people see things. You're seeing stuff in your dreams right now.
Yeah.
But some people see it, I see it kind of in my third eye. It's kind of in my head, not really solid in front of me. But my mom and my sister see things solid. And if I'm with them and they are seeing something solid, I get a little bit of their energy and I get to see that solid thing too. And I remember just like kind of being scared about that. I was fine with it being in my head, but when it's standing right in front of me, it's something else. Um, and then this is a kind of a cool one. And when I read it, I was like, oh, I don't get that one. I get most of them, but I don't get that one. But it's the smells. And then I realized whenever my grandfather comes, and this is a little weird, I will smell stinky socks.
Wow. Yeah.
So, I mean, the one thing about him growing up is he just always had smelly feet. I remember all the cousins saying, Grandma, Grandpa's feet. And she'd come in and she'd spray them down. So that is the connection he sends me. He gives me this little smell of his feet, I guess. And that's like, oh, Grandpa's here.
That's great.
So
Well, like people smelling cigarettes for my mother was a smoker. My brother said he smelled cigarettes one time. I haven't, but well, I should not say that. We smelled cigarettes a few weeks ago in my house, and my son noticed it, and I said, "Oh, that's weird. Maybe the workers outside next door are smoking." But you never know. I didn't even put that two and two together, but that's
yeah.
interesting.
And that's just another part of our intuition opening up. And it's interesting now because a lot of people don't smoke. So when you do smell smoke, it actually triggers something.
Hmm.
It's not like you can just like slough it off and it's like, oh, somebody's smoking outside and it's coming through a window.
Yeah.
So I
Well, I
like
know.
that one.
Yeah, well, we're on a tangent here, but just so if you guys want to figure out how we can contact you, Tracy, tell us your website.
Yeah, God, I can get into it and just talk forever. So my website is Tracy macranko.com, TracyMakarenko.com, or email me at tracy@tracymacranko.com. I do intuitive healings. I've been doing stuff like this for a long, long time, 20 years pretty
Wow.
much now.
And she's also an author, and she's a
I'm an
teacher.
author and I'm a teacher and I do one-on-one coaching,
Aw,
holistic coaching. I have a new moon group I do once a month. It's
yes.
coming up this Tuesday. So it's through Zoom. So it's a virtual 2-hour program. It starts at 1 Pacific time, 2, 3, 4 o'clock Eastern time. Um, yeah. And I mean, just this is the stuff I love, is getting into this stuff. You know, intuitively, that's what I'm doing when I'm working on someone. They might be getting a physical healing, but I'm doing an intuitive healing. But as you do any type of healing, and that's seeing any other type of practitioner, not just someone who does work like I do, you have these, let's say, dark spots inside of you, little traumas or blockages of some sort from something or something or another, and they disappear as the healing happens. And so over time, light moves into these darker parts of your body. And
Mm-hmm.
so you get happier, you get healthier, and your intuition starts opening up for you.
Ooh,
And it can be a little scary for some people. And I kind of want to talk about a little bit about this because I think it's really
sure.
important. I had a client a few weeks ago and I said something, because I mean, I've been doing this forever. You forget about the beginning when people are starting these things and they don't realize what's going on. I had to learn it all, but it's nice to share it with people if this is what they're going through. So we have a lot of guides as we start brightening up inside. We get rid of the dark, we bring in the light. But there's entities or there are people who are earthbound, so they've never crossed over,
Mhm.
and they see your light and they think you are the light
Oh,
and they get a little confused.
interesting.
So they show up and they might start talking in your ear. And so some people hear things, or some people, the lights are flickering. That could be something that's more earthbound and is more connected to your light than
Mm.
actually a family member who's passed over to the other side.
Wow.
So it's important to first say, I will only speak or stay connected to people who are, and you don't have to use the word God, you can use universe or whatever your word
Mm-hmm.
is. I'm just going to use God just for my vocabulary. Um, I only connect with people from God's love and light. And so that means you're just bringing in the purest people to that are at the highest good for you to have these conversations with you and to communicate with you in whatever way that is and to help improve your life. So you might still be surrounded by other beings because they think you are the light. They don't know any better.
Mm-hmm.
But you're not going to have as much communication with them. Now, if you've gone to another level of intuitiveness and you start seeing things, one of those other gifts we have, we can see or feel things around us. You can shift these people over to the other side. You can, and what I normally say is, you've seen, I'm sure with kids, you've seen Monsters Inc.
Yes. Oh my God, I remember that one.
Yeah. So do you remember the doors
No.
that come down? And that's
Oh
how
yeah,
the
yeah,
monsters
yeah, yeah.
come in
That's how
and
they come
out?
in and out. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So in my mind's eye, I see a door coming down
Oh wow.
the right side of my body. I
Okay.
see the door open up. I see a white light shine through, and I say, uh, go into the light on the right. And
Okay.
I see the door come down, I see the door open, and that's how I try and send off these people who are earthbound through this door on the right into the light,
Oh,
because it all rhymes and I like that.
okay.
You can also ask Archangel Raphael to come and help transport them over to the other side. Even if you don't know anyone's there or you're not sure, your lights are flickering, maybe it's someone, maybe it's not, you still can do this. You can, and the reason I see the door come up and down is because I don't want it in my house or in that space permanently, right?
Okay.
So I visualize it coming down, opening, going to the right into the light. I leave it open until, and you'll feel sometimes, this is another part, you can play with so many things to get your intuition really like keyed in. You might feel like right now I feel like completely cold. So I'm like, how many people are coming into my room right now to go into this light on the right?
Wow.
But then you make sure you close the door and then you see
Mm-hmm.
the door disappear because you just don't want it there all the time. But you want to be working with the right guides that are there for your highest good and come from the purest love and light. and helping the people who are stuck here. Like, I wouldn't want, say, my cousin who tragically died to still be hanging around because he
Yeah.
missed his exit, and then 20 years later, he doesn't know why he's here, because you forget things when you're
Mm-hmm.
a spirit, and you're just hanging out. And then somebody moves into the house and they're like, oh, this is fun, just having this guy hanging around. Well, this guy is somebody's son. He could be somebody's father, brother, sister, whatever. So if you can move them off onto the other side, let's do that. Let's allow him to have an afterlife that's not stuck here in this world.
All right, I got to remember that. Oh, and wow, I have this light in my bedroom. It's in my closet. It's been flickering for years, and I joke it's my mom. And now the other one in the other closet. There's two little closets that start flickering. And then I had my son's father come over, and he recently just took it off, like the ceiling. It's like a round one. It looks like a UFO, and all the lights inside are just weird and flickering. Like, how was that ever like a normal light bulb? It just bizarre, but I still haven't fixed it. He put it back and it still does it. Not all the time, but most of the time. So it's just, I don't know if that's a sign, or like I don't want to damage it. Or should I just talk to it and just say maybe someone stuck? Is it
Yeah, like,
possible?
just, I mean, it doesn't, I mean, people are stuck everywhere,
Hmm.
think about all the different wars that have happened, even like in the United
Yeah.
States, especially down your coast, right? Not so much on my side of the country, but um, I go over there and I'm inundated with people walking around that,
Yeah.
miss their exit. So it doesn't hurt, even if there's nobody you think attached to that. Even if nobody is attached to that light, it's just an electrical issue. I'm
Okay.
sure you're still helping someone in your area go somewhere. So I just want to review like some of these things so people most people know, but there's the clear seeing, the clairvoyance, right? You see in your mind's eye, or you see outside of yourself. Um, the clairsentience, I hope I said that
Yeah.
right. It's the
Yes.
one where you have the clear hearing, like
Okay.
you literally hear somebody in your ear or in your head. Um, that one is great. Like, I love that when I'm working with my clients. It's very, very helpful. Then you have the clear knowing. You just know something's happening. Like last week, I was tuned in to connect with you, and I
Hmm.
was like, she's not going to be here today. I don't know what's going on, but I know we're not having a session today.
Hmm.
It just, you're in those moments
And
when you
it's,
just really know things, right?
hmm.
Or whatever it is. And then the smell one.
What is that one?
Well, like my
Clairvoyance, clairs.
grandfather's, my
I know,
grandfather's,
but isn't it
oh,
called something Claire? I can't think of
oh
it.
yeah, I don't know if I can actually pronounce it. It's called Clara Lions.
Okay, yeah, I don't know either. All right, I don't
I
feel so bad. I'm
I
like, okay,
couldn't even pull it up to find
okay.
out how to pronounce it.
Clairsentience? No.
No, clairsentience is the
Oh,
feelings
I like
one.
that.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's fun if you can start playing with these. Think outside the box, maybe this is something you do already. If you go to the mall, the grocery store, and you're like, okay, I want my parking spot by this entrance, and you're driving along and there's nothing there, and you feel it like you need to turn around to go up
Mm-hmm.
the other side, and you're like, well, I can see there's no spots there, but you listen anyways. You go around the corner, and then someone pulls out, and you get to pull in, even though there's 10 other cars in the parking lot still looking for spots. Your spot shows up. So I like playing with it like that, or taking the way home that maybe I'm hearing don't go that way, and it's like, well, why can't I go that way? And then you're stuck in traffic for 20 minutes, and you
Yep.
find out exactly why you're not supposed to go that way. But it helps you really connect with that voice, the one that you want to listen to. You get to trust that voice, because it's there for your highest good.
Interesting. Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, we are only 2 minutes away from the end of the show. I apologize. We've been on a roll, and there's still so much more in your notes that we
I
didn't get to,
know,
but we
I
just go with the
know.
flow.
And sometimes that's the perfect way to go.
Oh, well,
So
good. I'm glad. Do you think so? I think it was great. I mean, I learned so much from you all the time, and I'm going to start the lights, the dreams, remembering the smells. What else did we learn today about
feelings,
intuitiveness
like,
and feeling
sometimes you
what we
get the
feel?
prickle on your arms,
Yeah,
like I do, I feel differently because I'm
goosebumps.
feeling people's bodies, but you all of a sudden get this chill up your arms or goosebumps or whatever, and you're like, oh, that's part of your intuition kicking in and what's going on. It's not just um, you're outside in the freezing cold or whatever. But
Yeah.
yeah, just like paying attention. They're always trying to connect with us in one way or another. So I think it's just really important for us to be there to accept some of that information. I feel like the veil is thinning more and more every day. So having that connection with spirit is really important right now.
Mm. Well, thank you, thank you, thank you. How do we reach out to you? What should we do in the meantime till we connect again?
Yeah. So next week, I think we're doing a call-in show. I think
Oh,
people are
good.
calling in.
Oh, cool. Cool,
So
cool,
I
cool.
don't, I just want to mention that right now so people know they can call and ask questions. Um, Otherwise, they can connect with me through social media, Facebook, Instagram, website, tracymakarenko.com, TracyMakarenko.com. Email me at tracy@tracymakarenko.com. I do intuitive healings. I do one-on-one coaching. You can find my book, Moving from the Outside In, on Amazon, along with the one that I co-authored with Karen Clanson called I'm a Brilliant Woman. New moon event this Tuesday. If you want to join in virtually, it starts 1 o'clock Pacific, 4 o'clock Eastern.
Awesome. That's right. March 5th. Got that.
I think that's
Making
about
sure we're
it.
plugging everything. All right. Well, thank
Just
you.
trying for
And a
sure.
pleasure to have you here again. And looking forward to next time we get to speak. Are we back again next week? I know we've taken such a break, a hiatus.
No more breaks for a while.
All
Yeah,
right, good. Then I'll
I will
see you
see you
soon. I'll
next
see
week,
you next
Jill.
next Friday. Good. Have a great
Okay.
day.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.